Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I'm your host, Jake Combs, and today we're taking a look at, I'm honestly probably going to butcher the name, but I'm going to say it's Vaesen or Vaesen. It is a Nordic mythological based role playing game from the folks at Legue. So let's go ahead and take a look. So this right here is our core book itself, and I stand corrected, it's a Nordic horror role-playing game, which when you look deep enough to most legends, there's a lot of fear-based stuff going on there, and so pretty much anything like that could be kind of considered horror to some extent. Like things like the boogeyman and the cryptids and things like that. So this is specific to the Nordic mythologies. Now, one thing I really like about it is, and this goes back to what I've said in previous videos, that Free League has done really well at, and that's but really the overall production quality. I mean, looking through this, it very much looks like like an older tome as far as like the coloring of the pages. There's kind of some yellowing to it. Definitely makes it look like it's been aged. A lot of the artwork and drawings definitely fits with a lot of the kind of mythology or medieval times artwork and stuff like that, but obviously with a lot more attention to detail in the art itself. And then we also have two of the expansions, Mythic Britain and Ireland, and the Lost Mountain Saga. So out of the two of these, the Lost Mountain Saga is more of a campaign in my eyes than this one right here, which is more of a kind of a source book, as it were, for focusing on Britain and Ireland. And like even the choosing of some of the fonts, it definitely leans into the times, and just again goes back to the overall production quality, and they've done an absolutely fantastic job. Look at that artwork, just fantastic. And like some of the characters kind of remind me of like kind of the style of like Where the Wild Things Are, which growing up was one of my favorite books. And so seeing something that kind of brings back some of the nostalgia is always cool. Now, I don't think that was their intention whatsoever with their art style. I think it was just kind of the overall vibe they were going for, but that's specifically what it brings up. Now, like one thing I really like is, again, in terms of attention to detail, we have handwritten letters and documents and things like that. And then with the Mountain Saga, we have full drawn maps, as well as more detailed maps showing like buildings and things like that. And I mean, look at that dragon or worm or whatever you want to call it. Again, just so much detail and care has gone into their role-playing games that far exceeds a lot of that I've experienced over the years. In terms of immersiveness, because the main thing that people look for when they're playing a role-playing game is they want to be inside that world. They want to escape their own world in most cases, and play in this world where they can have more more control, or whether they're trying to find love or become rich and have more control over their destiny. And so touches like this, I think, is really what makes Free League stand apart from a lot of their competition out there, because so few really really fail to take the time to really draw you in with this type of detail. And again, Free League just absolutely nails it. I mean, overall, we had a lot of fun playing this. Now, me personally, I'm not familiar with any of the Nordic mythologies, so I don't know how accurate any of the creatures or anything like that are. But we had a great time, building our own stories and things like that in a world that we've never really been able to experience, or probably likely ever experience again, just because of how unique of a topic it is. Most people are going to kind of stick towards the more mainstream mythos or mythologies, kind of like maybe leaning more towards like Greek or Roman mythologies, just because on the world stage it's much larger than the Nordic. I mean, other than the Nordic people, until these books came out, I've never heard of any of their mythologies. I just knew of them as people. So really diving in and being able to experience it for really the first time in such a way made it so much more enjoyable, because there was no assumptions of what these creatures should be or how they should behave, for us anyway. And I think it really aided in our enjoyment of the game. And so, going out there and playing something that is so alien to you, and I don't mean to say that the Nordic people are alien in that regard, but I just mean so different from what you've grown up with and what you're used to, that the experience as a whole is really strengthened by it. So definitely recommend these books. It's a great role-playing game. We had an absolute blast. I mean, pretty much the entire party died our first night, because we made a lot of mistakes early on. But at the same time, though, we had an absolute blast. And some of us were being a little extra cautious, just because we had no idea what to expect, and even then we still screwed it up. So again, had an absolute blast, and well worth the read, if not the actual play as well. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you next time.